So, to make the horchata, you gotta have 8 cups of water, 1 cinnamon stick, 1 tablespoon ground cinnamon, 1 cup rice, and some salt and sugar.
And a blender.
So, combine the rice and cinnamon stick with 4 cups of water into a blender and pulse to coarsely grind. Transfer to a large bowl and add another 4 cups of water and then put it to rest for 3 hours.
Ooh, 3 hours.
In room temperature. So, you need to get the saran wrap to cover the mixture so that you can store at room temperature for 3 hours.
Nice.
Okay, so the next thing we're doing is the batter for the tortillas. Okay, so now you're gonna need a tablespoon of salt, and then you're gonna need 6 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, make sure that. And then you're gonna need 1.5 cup of water, because that's 3/4 times 2. And then you're gonna need 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Make sure it's not a single purpose, make sure that it is actually all-purpose, because this is gonna be versatile.
And a big bowl to put it in.
Exactly.
So you're gonna take this big bowl, you're gonna take the flour, drop it in. Yummy. Make sure you get all of that. Okay. Good enough. Then you take the salt, and you're gonna sprinkle, and then you're gonna stir it up. Yeah.
Well, you gotta stir it with so put the water and olive oil in while I'm stirring.
Divide the dough into as many tortillas as you want, and this is one batch of this is supposed to make 4, but we doubled the batch.
No,
so
it makes 8.
Oh no, one batch makes 8, so you're gonna double it to 16 then.
Yeah,
Right?
16.
So normally you'd cut the dough into 8 pieces, but because we doubled the recipe, you make 16 pieces. So switch it out a little bit, and then you're just gonna do, I don't know if this is like
AB Calc AB right there.
I know, dude.
yeah, that's that Calc AB knowledge coming in fractions. Ooh, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
Film me.
So you're gonna take your little slices of dough and roll them into 7-inch-ish circles as best you can. If you don't have a tortilla press like we don't, just use a rolling pin and it should be fine.
So, after you roll out your tortillas, use a non-stick skillet to cook them, and so use cooking spray to cover it all. Yeah, that's good, right? Yeah, okay. Now, you turn on the heat. So, you grab a tortilla with washed hands. I don't know if I washed mine, but...
I'm not eating that tortilla. And how long are you cooking for, Brandon?
1 minute on each side, or until lightly browned. So after cooking the tortillas, you choose the ones that are more stiff, because we might have there's some imbalance with the cooking. We choose the stiffer ones, and we're gonna make them into chips by cutting them into wedges and then putting them in the oven. So, to continue with the chips, you want to put some lime juice on it, 3 tablespoons to be exact. We just used 1 lime because it seems like it'll be enough.
And spread it evenly over
Spread it evenly with fingers.
wedges.
Washed fingers.
Yeah, washed fingers.
Again, I don't know if I did, but. And then also, you're gonna need cooking oil when you're baking. So, just like that.
And then you're gonna want to have preheated your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And once you do that, you can go ahead and stick your cookie sheet full of chips into the oven. Nice. Leave them for how long, Brandon? 7 minutes. Rotate the pan and bake for another 8 minutes, or until they're crisp. So there you go.
So after you've diced the tomatoes, make sure not to spill, and then put it into like a nice little bowl. You're gonna measure out 3 cups worth of tomatoes, and this is for the salsa. Yeah. All right, so then get a lime out, and we're going to sprinkle this in. A legit juicer. Get it juiced. Okay, so now you're gonna get your lime. So obviously this is how you cut a bell pepper. If you do it any other way, it'll come out differently than ours, and so it'll invalidate our whole video. But so we only need about a half a bell pepper here for this part of the salsa. So make sure there's no seeds in there. And then, well, like, I guess you could have some seeds, but also make sure you wash your hands. And then always make sure to also try your ingredients to make sure that they're good. This is a good bell pepper. And you can tell because it'll taste good. And then, so what you need to do is then just dice it out, right? So just go like that. Okay, so then you need 1/4 cup minced cilantro. So obviously this will yield about 1/4 of a cup. So just go ahead and mince it all. And to mince, you just kind of basically almost cut your fingers. And then just kind of go like that. Yeah. Okay, so then you're gonna need to put some salt and pepper in. We have here a little half teaspoon of salt, and then some pepper, and then you just kind of sprinkle it in there. And since we're not putting in a jalapeno, you can go ham on the pepper.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Go a little bit less than ham on the pepper, and that's about good. And then you mix.
There you have salsa a la Alex and Brandon.
Okay, so next what you want to do is have the avocados and seed them, meaning if you can infer, take out the seed. So when you get your avocado like this, it's also handy to have a spoon with you. So if you see, we can just kind of plop that guy out. And what we need a spoon for is actually getting the avocado out. It's a lot easier with a spoon. And so as you remember how to dice tomatoes, you're going to want to put in 2 diced tomatoes into the guacamole.
Okay, so once you get all your ingredients in the bowl, take a fork or any other implement really, and just kind of get in there and mash it all together. Try to keep it in the bowl, and we'll get back to you when it actually looks like guacamole. So after a while, once you like mash it all together, and it should come out looking like guacamole. So there you go. Nice. So after the last 8 minutes, your chips should come out of the oven looking kind of golden brown. The thinner ones will have turned a little bit more brown, and then just put them out to cool off, and then you can enjoy. After the horchata has rested for 3 hours, with the various cinnamon rice mix kind of soaking in that water, you're gonna pour it back into a blender. Make sure you get all of this, and you're gonna put the blender on puree and let it go until the mix is smooth. Okay, so after you make a giant mess without your hands on the top of the blender and all this horchata spills everywhere, do it again, but put your hand on top, and then once it's blended, take it out the blender, and you want to strain out higher the not drinkable stuff. And so you get maximum value for all the mess you've made. So after you've strained the horchata, you want to take some sugar, measure out, well, the recipe calls for a half cup, but we're children, so a full cup will do. And stir until the sugar dissolves. Okay, so it's time to cook the quesadillas. So you're gonna take some oil. We're gonna have meat in ours. You don't have to, but we're gonna cook the meat ahead of time, so it's ready for the quesadillas. So go ahead and just put down some oil, you know. You can spread that out with a spatula. Spread that around a little bit. And then we have some nice 80-20 ground meat, which we're gonna throw on here. It's
Beef
probably
to
more
be
than we're gonna
exact.
need, but oh yeah, it's beef. So 80% lean, 20% fat. Okay, so once you have your meat ready, it's out. Just salt, pepper, maybe a little garlic if you're feeling fancy. You can throw the tortilla you just made, or made a while ago, I guess, into the same pan. Warm it up a little bit, and start cooking. We also have some cheese here. This is a four cheese Mexican blend. And then, if you like, you can throw some green peppers and onions in too.
Make sure to put in the liquids while you're stirring. Oh, we should have gotten not this. It's okay, but
How much olive oil?
6 tablespoons.
6 tablespoons.
This is a bad idea. So make sure when you guys are doing this, do not use a whisker. While you're waiting for the horchata to settle, just get this good right here. You need to get a good workout so you can mix. Oh my god! Oh my god! And then so after, we're not putting that in. So flour.
Keep okay. Action.
So we need 4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, three-fourths cups of water, but times 2.
Make sure you actually read how to cook them before
Go.
you start cooking them, please.
So, after you roll out your tortillas, you use a non-stick skillet to cook the tortillas, and so you put cooking spray.
That's
Maybe
hella.
not that much.
Alex. The nuts. And so, check if they're spicy. And this one is actually. This one's actually really spicy. Hey, like a stir fry.
I know which one that shit hit. Oh, I might find a jet so I keep it 3,500 for the sweater cause it's GG. Hit her in the shower, maybe a little bitch do the me. Me and Jess keep dripping on the bitch neck on Fiji.
Okay, good. Make sure that you wash your hands
Yeah.
before messing up.
Before messing up usually helps.
Yeah, that's good.
Or after. I mean, honestly, as long as you wash them as before you do this, like, just don't use a whisk, you know.